Hi, welcome to the very first Quipster Nerd podcast. I'm Quipster, and in this podcast we talk about all things 40k and focus on people in the hobby. Today I've got with me Wilym St John, who is one of the founders of a very special board gaming cafe called Bad Moon Cafe.
Right. Thanks for having me on, Alex.
That's okay. Do you want to give me the elevator pitch of like what this place is?
Okay.
Because it's a very interesting concept.
Bad Moon Cafe really came about out of a desire for a sort of more premium gaming experience from three friends who met playing together in London. We really enjoyed the hobby, and we increasingly felt like there were things that could be improved about the places we were playing. And so then a great combination of skills kind of culminated in us deciding to undertake building our own business and our own gaming space. So I guess we just try and push everything kind of to the next level, from the custom gaming tables to the barista coffee and all that kind of thing. Great stock holding. It's all about kind of turning it up to 11.
Awesome. I mean, I find it quite interesting that of the three of you, well, there's four of you now. Do you want to?
There is four of us. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys met Paul on, was it Daka Daka?
We met Paul on Daka Daka.
Who the hell still uses Daka Daka? How is that a thing?
That's what I thought. We were recruiting for staff, and at this point it was just a sort of a pipe dream and a presentation. So people were really
it's
having
a PowerPoint and nothing else.
Exactly. Well, yeah, or more just an email promising this awesome job in a great hobby store that didn't exist yet. So we weren't being flooded with responses at that point. And so we were really scraping the barrel, and one of the posts went up on Daka Daka, and Paul reached out to us, which was fantastic.
Wow.
And I went and met him, and he was lovely, and we knew straight away he'd be a great member of the team, awesome. And he has been, and now he's one of the co-owners of the business.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, so how does it work between the four of you? So like, I know Hugh's still working full time at the moment. He's doing a lot of video production stuff, right?
Yeah. So me and Paul are, I guess, the boots on the ground. We work full time here, sometimes a bit more than full time. And Boris and Hugh help out in many other ways, but they have full time jobs as well.
Awesome. Oh, actually,
so everyone's very busy, basically.
I can imagine. I was going to say, talking about Boris, did you see that Hellstorm video he was in?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so
funny. It made me laugh. I don't know how he felt about it. He made when he appears on podcasts and in videos and things, he doesn't often tell me, and if he does, it's sort of like a slight reference to something. Oh yeah. But yeah, he made a little joke about it, and then I went and watched it, and it's it was great. They completely cut all of his audio and just started playing a sort of communist anthem. I thought it was I thought it was really funny.
But so I was gonna say, talking about like you guys, I find it really interesting that, like, for a start, you are a very interesting one, because like you're such a nice person, but you're like, in comparison to that, weirdly competitive when you play 40k.
Yes, this is true. I think that extends to any kind of game. To be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I think my friends would probably say the same. I think. Yeah, a nice guy goes out the window.
It's such a nice guy, but on tabletop he's such a dick.
until I'm assured of victory, then it's about the win. It's definitely a subconscious thing that I think I've realised now and embraced somewhat. I didn't used to, when I played when I was younger, as we all did. It was never really about winning as much, and I was kind of thrown into the competitive scene by Boris, who plays loads. I
didn't know Boris was the one who got you into like the competitive stuff.
He was, yeah. So
because he's super competitive.
He is indeed. So we all met playing Age of Sigmar.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you played AOS.
Well, see, not anymore. So me and Hugh.
Mm-hmm. Hugh's massive into it still, isn't he?
He is a big Sigmar guy. I sort of trying to dip my toe back into the hobby after a huge hiatus, as 90% of the people I speak to in the store have. Mm-hmm. And I googled Warhammer London, and I found the London Wargaming Guild.
Of course.
And the person who picked up my offering of a game was Hugh. And we both very sort of nervously set up our models and grabbed a pint. And then it became a bit of a regular thing. We'd play together once every sort of 2 weeks. And then he eventually introduced me to Boris, who we'd met through playing Age of Sigmar as well, who was playing Death, but very disillusioned with it.
Oh, really?
And then Boris kind of convinced me to play 40k. When we decided we were going to do this, he said, you can't not play the biggest selling game in the in the market. So he said, I've got you a ticket to this tournament. You need to get an army ready. You have a month.
Was it the Fun and Fluff?
It was the Fun and Fluff.
No. Oh my God. So you'd only been playing 40k for like a month?
Not when I played you. That was my second time at the Fun and Fluff. But yes, I played 3 games with Boris.
Jesus.
And I cobbled together some Space Marines. And
Wow.
then at first I was, there's a few things that are different to Age of Sigmar, and in my experience, the Sigmar community can be quite sort of can deride 40k players, and a few.
I think that goes both ways.
It goes both ways. So I'd heard all these things. You're going to get shot off the table in first turn, and all this kind of stuff.
Hold that thought. Okay, and we're back. Sorry, where were we?
No worries. We were talking about getting into 40k.
Yes.
And long story short, I got kind of thrown in at the deep end, but I loved the tournament. I had a great time, and then I was kind of hooked from then on. I played my Space Marines for a while, and then I eventually started playing Tau, which was my main army for a little while, and how we met playing at the Fun and Fluff tournament part 2.
Is how we met. So I feel like I should regale like my side of this story. So the Fun and Fluff that we met at was actually the first competition that I've ever done. And so obviously you see the list the day before, and I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, I looked at the thing, and I was just like, Wilym St John, this guy sounds like a prick.
Thank you very much.
But like, oh my God, firstly, how wrong was I, considering like
we had a great time.
We had a great time, especially considering that I don't think I'd played Tau up until that point. And I made a lot of mistakes and got blown off the board by turn 3. Was it turn 3?
It was unfortunate.
Oh my God.
But I was very worried when I saw your army.
I don't know why.
I hadn't played Custodes, and I think of them as these invulnerable golden boys.
It's because normally they are. But if you're facing a Tau gun line and you have to like, and they're deployed at the back of the board and made all these silly mistakes.
Yes.
But I was going to say, one of the big things I really like about... I'm not sure if this is the case for the rest of the community or the competition community in London, but I have met so many really cool people. Like, especially at the Fun and Fluff. It was 6 games over 2 days. And every single game I had, actually bar one, were all like super nice guys. I was like, oh my God, let's meet up for games, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The one guy who I was just like, it's
because I'm going to get details.
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't even like that he was a dick or anything. It was more a case of, I think the hobby tends to attract a lot of like guys who are a bit socially awkward, and so it was just it was just a little bit awkward. No, he wasn't like, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Also, he bought Eldar and just fucking annihilated me.
It happens.
But no, I think like I've had very few bad experiences in London, especially. But so sort of going back to like Badminton Cafe and how you guys started. What was it like in the beginning, like starting? Because you were working. Where were you working before?
I was working for the John Lewis Partnership. I was doing a retail management there. So
it was like a grad scheme, wasn't it?
But no, it wasn't. It was just through the usual channels. Not dissimilar, but different in loads of other ways. It was hectic and exciting in the beginning for sure. I think we, despite planning, we never realised quite how many little things there would be to do. So there was a lot of scrambling for the first few months, but everyone picked up the slack. Paul especially was amazing, and there was a lot of long weeks, and it's great to be in a place now where we're kind of getting into our rhythm and can take a bit more rest and do some more painting. But no, it was great. It was exhilarating. I can't believe it's been 9 or 10 months now already. It's sort of like just yesterday I was kind of thinking back to when we first opened, and we kind of the first customer and evenings where there'd be just 2 people playing a game in here. And then, looking around last night, it's kind of we've got used to this place being pretty much full and most nights of the week, which is amazing.
I was going to say in the beginning, especially with any business,
it was cold as well.
Oh yeah, of course, because you guys are open in like November.
Yeah.
But I was going to say at the beginning of any business, like you've not got that many people coming through the door.
No.
You like the word isn't out there yet.
No.
And so like, what did you guys do in the beginning to like generate interest, to get people in the community excited?
I think that would be my biggest piece of advice to anyone thinking of doing a similar undertaking. Is I think the most crucial thing for us has been marketing and advertising and getting the word out there. And in the beginning, we just didn't really know what we were doing.
Because all you guys had come from not necessarily like an entrepreneurial background, but it was all like working in like either large companies or like medium-sized companies. None of you guys have started a business before, had you?
No.
Yeah.
No, not. So, yeah.
Exactly. So
and we have Hugh, who's an absolute wizard with design and video, and he can do some amazing stuff. And he makes.
I've seen.
Yeah. So we had a few sort of promotional videos before we opened, which considering we were nobodies, had a reasonable amount of attention. So that was awesome, and that helped. But I just don't think we realised quite how consistent you have to be, and the volume. You have to just constantly be getting stuff out there. We've now taken on a professional marketing agency, and it's done wonders already. I mean, it's only been a month. And before that, we were sort of scrambling to do it ourselves with varying degrees of success. I'm definitely a technophobe on our team, and not social media trained. So that's been great, and I think even in the last few weeks we've seen an increase in the number of people just coming in, sort of casually dropping in for board games. I think it was easy enough to engage the Warhammer community. Because we knew a few people, and we had something that was quite unique, at least we think, in London.
I was going to say as well, like in terms of this space, like God, how did you even find this?
How do we find it?
Because this is question. You've got like 20 tables, full terrain, like, and space for board games, and like this whole painting setup.
Yeah, we did it. We did some hunting around. That was a sort of exciting time where me and Boris were hunting around London, looking at a few different venues, and it's funny to think back on it. So some of the places we thought would work, or we thought were better, or whatever. Now I think about it, I'm like, oh, wow, that really would have been a terrible decision. My dad helped out a lot as well. So he's an architect, so he was handy to have around. When we would get excited about something, he could come in and say, no, this is hopeless. So this used to be a supermarket.
Really?
Yes, it used to be a co-op with a post office in the back, so we still get a lot of people coming in saying, is the post office still here? And it was...
No, but have you tried Warhammer 40,000?
That's a sales pitch. It was in a real state. There's big suspended ceilings. Sort of, you could see where old big fridges have been fitted and everything. It was so a lot of work. But actually, we found when we stripped back the ceiling, we had this nice concrete sort of industrial vibe going on, and it really fitted in with what Hugh's vision for the place. We were really happy with it, and. I think it's a little bit tucked away, I think we maybe overestimated the amount of walking coffee trade we might attract.
Slightly.
It's been fantastic. And I think it's easy enough for most people to get to as well. It's sort of about 5 minutes from Borough.
Exactly.
10 minutes from London Bridge. So.
And like super close to my place, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah, I can cycle from Peckham as well, so it's very, very easy.
But like, I think everyone in the Warhammer community and AOS and whatever has thought about at some point in their lives, like, oh, what if I just opened like a shop or like a wargaming, mecca kind of thing. Like, I think everyone thinks it at some point, and I don't think anyone thinks properly about the realities of it.
Yeah, it's not what you expect. There's a lot of cleaning. There's a lot of invoicing. It's obviously amazing, and we have moments where I definitely think, you know, this is the best job in the world.
Really?
But yeah, there's also loads of things you don't think of.
Such as?
I don't know. The list is endless.
Oh, go for it.
The amount of time that I think maybe when you dream about that kind of thing, you think you maybe imagine yourself sitting painting scenery or talking to people about the hobby and doing demo games, and that's really not, it doesn't constitute 2% of my time, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, what does?
all sorts. Just a space of this size, and we now have quite a big team. You know, it just takes a lot of care, basically, and making sure everything's running smoothly.
So it's like the invoicing, the
all sorts.
Cleaning.
Our ordering, we have a pretty immense stock holding, and one of our sort of key pillars was to have an awesome stock holding. So we always try and have one of every item in stock.
Including drop pods.
Anything we can buy from Game Direct. Yes, I have loads of drop pods at the moment, and Stairgun veterans. I'm still expecting, hoping this will be a hit. So if you need your drop pods, I'm your man.
Oh, indeed. I still remember you told me about the day the Space Marine Codex dropped. There's that guy that walked in,
bought a load of drop pods.
I did, because I think you ordered 4. You're like, okay, this will be enough.
Yeah, he cleared me out straight away. Yeah.
Dear.
But no, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun at the same time. I think,
awesome.
I definitely couldn't do as many hours at any other job. I think I'd lose my mind. But we all love working here. So.
I mean, the one thing because I work with my family, and it's in the family business, and so obviously we own the business. The one thing I think that surprised me the most about working in sort of that entrepreneurial environment was the guilt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as I said that, I figured you know what I'm talking about, because I get it every single time that I'm not working, or if I'm doing something else. You feel that guilt of shit. I should be doing something.
Exactly.
I should be looking at the invoices. I should be looking at my emails. Blah blah blah.
If you weren't such a lovely man, I'd be feeling it right now, Alex. No. All
this
the
is
time.
marketing. It's fine.
All the time. It's huge. You know, part of my job is engaging with people that come to the store, and talking to everyone, being friendly, which I love doing. And people want to play games with you and that kind of thing, and I want to play games too. But that's when it really kicks in. You know, even taking a little bit of time for lunch to, I don't know, play a card game or something, I immediately start to feel very aware of what needs doing. I'll be taking my first proper holiday this year, so
nice.
That'd be nice, taking a week off. And I think we all get that. Just wanting to be constantly in the loop and doing things, and aware that your actions are directly contributing to the success of a business.
I mean, I had the same thing. Until someone sort of reminded me of the day, I completely didn't realise I had barely left London in a year, just because I was working on stuff. I think last August I went to my friend's wedding in Bratislava. And until about a month ago, I realised, Jesus, since then, I left London once, twice.
Wow.
Yeah, it catches up with you.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of thing consumes you if you let it.
A little bit, yeah. I would say this has been the fastest year of my life, definitely.
Really?
It's been a blink. It's... I think when you're this busy, and as you say, it can all of your attention. You're focused on that. You're thinking about it 90% of the time. I'm checking even when I'm off. I'm checking the sales on my phone, checking all the communication channels.
There's such a spiral though. You're just how many new followers on Instagram we got today?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Learn to switch off sometimes.
How do you do that? How do you deal with the anxiety and the stress of it?
Painting.
Okay.
So.
And now all the Ultramarines.
Yeah, all the Ultramarines.
As opposed to a month ago where you were just Alex, do you want to buy some Space Marines? I've
been called a meta chaser, which I think is very very unfair. I always have an excuse for playing a potentially cheesy army. The Tau, you know, that was my first 40k army when I was a kid, so that was sort of, you know, harkening back to innocent times. And Space Marines, I did already had the army, so when they get a new book, you know, what are you going to do? You've got to jump back on the bandwagon. But yeah, no, painting is a big stress reliever. I get a podcast on. Soon I'll be listening to your podcast.
That's true.
I'll be listening to this and cringing. And then just paint for a couple hours, and I find at that point I don't really think about much else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's quite a common thing with a lot of people in the hobby. Painting is that sort of stress relieving, like relaxing thing. Talking about like starting as a kid, like how did you get into the hobby in the first place?
I don't know, actually.
Really?
I think one of my friends played, and
so this is back when you were what, like 12?
Back when I was, no, probably like, I don't know. I don't want to give away my age here.
We're the same age.
I was young. I was young. And
Will, you're still young.
Don't feel young. Yeah, and you know, I don't know about you, but when you're a kid, you barely kind of play the game. You know, you just buy a load of big monsters and spend 3 hours laying them out on a carpet, and then it's time to go home. But yeah, I used to love painting the models very badly.
Tell me about it.
and then I kind of stopped in school because it all of a sudden became, at least deemed in my school. I don't really like talking about this too much because I don't want to stigmatize anything, but it was very uncool. And so I kind of stopped until my early 20s when I was looking for something to do that was stress relieving and not screen related, not just playing games all the time. And so yeah, picked back up the painting sneakily. I bought some Riders of Rohan.
Oh wow!
Because even when I wasn't playing, I always had this kind of fascination with it. It was kind of like a guilty pleasure. There was a Games Workshop in where my girlfriend lives, and I would always walk past, and it was kind of taboo, you know, because I got a lot of stick in school for it. So so I was kind of like knew I was interested, but I couldn't bring myself to kind of go in, you know. So, but there was this kind of magnetic attraction, and then eventually I bought these Riders of Rohan and then squirreled them away, and then I would sort of paint them in my university house secretly.
This is what, in like second year of uni?
This is in last year of uni.
Okay.
And then one day my flatmates, who were a great bunch of lads, 8 guys in a house, and
you were living with 8 people.
Yes,
Jeez.
and they were all like big, like football lads.
Okay,
but
that's
lovely guys. And they kind of, one of them came in and kind of, I guess, caught me in my eyes painting these models, and I was like, oh fuck, you know, I was very not looking forward to this moment.
Oh yeah.
But instead, his reaction was to run and grab everyone else in the house, bring them all in while I'm there, like, red in the face. And they all thought it was awesome. They were like, this is so cool. Like, how did you do that? How did you do the eyes or whatever? And yeah, they all thought it was wicked. And they'd sort of check back in with me later in the year and say, oh, what have you painted now, Will? Or can you show me these online or whatever? And I think that's been my experience with this place, is that, like, actually the stigma around it is complete rubbish. You know, a lot of people think it's creative, they think it's cool, and especially a lot of my female friends, you know, they don't think it's nerdy or anything. They actually think it's pretty awesome.
So you have a very different experience. My female friends absolutely think it's nerdy. But
please tell me.
Like, I think if you show passion for something, people respect that. And especially something like 40k or AOS or whatever, it's one of those things, it's hard to do a little bit. It's either you're in or you're in or you're out.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think it's one of those weird things as well. You're never really out, because, like, I remember, like, for me anyway, I started playing when I was, I must have been 10, 9 or 10, back in 3rd edition. And I remember my dad got me the box set, and I would actually go in to Games Workshop in St Albans every Sunday for, like, the young bloods, like, beginner games or whatever. Every Sunday I'd be there for the whole day. Yeah. Until I went off to boarding school. And, like, yeah, I've completely forgotten where I was going with that.
You were saying you're never really out.
Yes. So I kind of dropped out of it, like, when I went to boarding school. But, like, I was still reading some of the books. I was still keeping up with the website.
Yeah.
And then talking about like in school, the hobby being uncool. It's a bizarre turn of events. I moved back to a state school for sixth form. Moved back to Watford. And in the first couple of weeks of school, you're just like, oh God, I don't want to be friends.
Yeah.
Someone be friends with me.
Yeah.
And so like we went on this, they do these team building days. So we're on the bus coming back from one of those, and my now very good friend Dom, he's sort of like leaning over the seats talking to a whole bunch of us on the coach on the way back, and he made a Warhammer joke.
Do you remember what the joke was?
Not a clue. Oh. But he made this Warhammer joke, and I laughed along with everyone in the group. And he looked at me and he was just like, you don't know what we're laughing at. And I was like, yes, I do. And he was like, no, you don't. I was like, yes, I do. And he was like, by alternate, she's one of us. Instant group of friends.
Awesome.
I actually like, I went to his wedding 2 years ago. Like
wow.
Another guy who's sitting next to me, I was his groomsman. It's bizarre how the community is tied together like that.
Definitely.
But even then, like at uni, when you discover girls and going out, like you drop out of the hobby a little bit. I was still reading the Horus Heresy kind of thing. And I was going to say, like, I think especially with 8th edition coming out, there's a lot more guys coming back into it.
Yeah.
Is that, like, what have you guys seen from, like, people returning back?
I honestly, it is 90% the same story, which is I played when I was younger. I stopped in my sort of late teens to early 20s, and then late 20s to early 30s, people pick it back up for a variety of reasons. I think GW have just absolutely killed it. But I think a lot of it is like, an outlet or something to do to relax, something a little bit different and creative. But yeah, hear it all the time. And then I think, at least for me, and this might be the same for other people, you didn't really appreciate it in the same way when you were young. You couldn't really play the game, which has become part of the. I mean, I think I still enjoy painting the most, but the game has become a huge source of enjoyment for me. My competitive inner beast.
The voice at the back of your mind's been like, kill him now.
But I think people, they then you have some disposable income.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's a big change from saving up for like weeks to buy.
I'm gonna buy these Space Marines in 4 weeks.
Pack, a Lord of the Rings blister pack. That was me. But yeah, and you have the income. You've maybe got a bit more of a fixed schedule, and you can find time to play, and you have like focus and commitment to actually build a great army and not just buy the next new thing that comes out. Although a lot of us still have that problem.
I mean, we call it plastic crack for a reason.
Yeah, it's true.
I find it very kind of not depressing, not even saddening, but I find it like it's cool, but I feel like I missed out. Like if you look at all the stuff that's out there at the moment, YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, I wish I had any of this when I was a kid.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like think about how much easier it is to do everything now. Like back in the day when you were like 12 or whatever, just like, oh my God, I learned to dry brush.
Yeah, true.
And like it was like this masterful technique that you learned off someone, like some dark art or magic.
I remember that with the black wash. I mean, now they have this whole range of paints and all kinds of shades, your washes, your glazes, Back in the day, I remember reading in White Dwarf, just to thin down some black paint with a bit of water, and it would just give great effects on sort of chainmail or something that had previously, and that was like, I remember I was washing everything after that.
I was just like, oh my God, what is this sorcery?
Exactly.
I was going to say though, one thing I think is like surprisingly common in the hobby, and this is something that I've come up against as well, is people dealing or using the hobby to deal with issues, either mental health issues or physical issues. For me, it was I've got a condition called ulcerative colitis, as you know, and so there are long periods of time where I am too physically ill to leave the house. I can't do anything, and it's really crap. So one of the reasons I got back into the hobby was I was just like, I can't play it anymore. Metal Gear Solid 5. which, to be fair, is a phenomenal game. But I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need something else.
Yeah.
And so this was about November last year when I was, I think I was like, I saw something online about one of the Horse Heresy books, Master of Mankind.
I've only read the first 3, which I'm enjoying a lot.
Dude,
but no,
you're killing me.
I'm really out the loop. Haven't read Master of Mankind.
Oh my god, it's the best one.
Okay.
Easily.
Is it in a long order that I should wait to get there, or shall I just read it tomorrow?
You should definitely read it in order.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll give you the list later.
Yes, please.
But so it's one of those things that I've been reading the Heresy, and I realized, God, I need something else to do. Actually, let me just look at the GW website. What's going on?
Dangerous.
And then I saw, oh my God, Custodes are now an army. You can buy Custodes. So that was it. I was in, and immediately dropped £400 in Games Workshop.
They're a fantastic looking army.
Exactly. But it was one of those things that I needed. I needed something that I could just be ill and sit and do for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so that was the painting. And then contacted a couple of buddies who used to be into it, and was just like, dude, I'm getting into 40k again. Do you guys want to join? And they were all just like, oh my God, yes. So I use it as that form of like stress release and like distraction from being ill. You had kind of a similar thing while you were at uni, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I had some pretty bad anxiety at uni, and I guess perhaps manifested itself in not wanting to spend much time around other people. And as I mentioned to you, I had a very lively house, and sometimes that was a bit much. So yeah, I think sort of squirreling away to my room and painting a rider of Rohan was a way for me to kind of switch off and relax. And it then kind of fed into actually being a really great tool for me feeling more confident. When I came back to London, wanting to play games, I searched and found the London Wargaming Guild. And previously, if someone had said, you need to go and spend 3 hours with a stranger and you can't leave,
Because at this point, your anxiety was very bad, as far as I know.
Yeah, I wasn't keen on going to sort of anything social or too many people around. I was kind of, I guess, becoming more isolated.
And even at uni, it was like...
It helped me do my dissertation, but it was not great at all.
Because it was 3 years that you like almost didn't leave the house?
No, it was largely, I mean, the 2 years really, second year and third year was when it really, I think I realised it was a problem. And it became prohibitive, basically. I was not feeling comfortable in seminars and having to leave social situations that I would have previously felt completely comfortable in.
Really?
So after painting all these models, I thought, I've got to play a game. I've got to go through with this. And me and Hugh get there, and I've never asked him how he was feeling, but I think he was a bit nervous, and I was very nervous.
Okay.
And then, the situation as I described it, otherwise, I would have been dreading. We just kind of got lost in playing with our demons and orcs. And next thing I know, I've made a friend with a stranger, which is an interaction I would have really not reveled in. And I had someone that shared this interest, and I think that kind of spans Warhammer as a whole. I know you touched on people sometimes with maybe not the best social skills playing, and I think that's part of what makes it fantastic, is that this person might not be the most confident in everyday interactions, but when you get to the table, you immediately know that you share something in common, and it's maybe like another language or something. When you're in the game, people can maybe be themselves a little bit more, and it definitely helped me. And then I guess the way I started feeling much more confident was by doing things like that and realizing, hey, it's not so bad, nothing bad's going to come of it, So kept going, kept playing, putting myself in situations that were a bit uncomfortable, and then I was cured.
See, I always find it really interesting because, like, after having met you, like, I've been around you and like seen you interact with like everyone here. My first instinct isn't to say that is someone who at one point suffered with social anxiety to like such a heavy degree.
Well, it's a big thing. At school, I was very confident guy, you know.
Charming, outgoing,
yeah.
ladies' man.
No, not really. But yeah, never always very comfortable. And so yeah, it was only really in those years, and I think it's a very common thing in people's sort of early 20s. I know a lot of my friends actually who've had problems with it, and people would tell me, I'm feeling really anxious, and I didn't really know what that meant. I think before I experienced it myself, I thought, I equated it to the feeling before you go to an exam, where it's kind of almost excitement, I was always just excited to get it done. I was
that adrenaline.
Pretty crap at them, but I was just like, oh, well, this is a little bit, excited. And it was only really that when I experienced it myself, sort of heart pounding, feeling lightheaded, feeling like you have to just leave the situation, that I kind of realised, wow, that's a serious thing, and it can really affect your life and limit what you feel comfortable doing, and therefore a job you could do, or your social circles, or all sorts. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I can do to help other people, but if I notice someone is perhaps uncomfortable especially in this environment, or playing a game or whatever, or if any of you do, please go out of your way to make them feel comfortable, and that might be the step in them realizing that they do feel okay in those situations.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, one thing I found as well, and I actually said this in the video that Hugh did about the league.
Yeah. Thank you for taking part, by the way.
We
were having to drag people up. Come on.
Oh, God.
They're all my friends, because they're the only people that would agree to being filmed at such short notice.
I was saying this, I think Matty Hunter was just like straight in.
Yeah, absolute legend.
Oh, great guy. But I think that's something I found very interesting, especially with this community. It draws you in so much, and it draws you in. You've got this shared thing that you've all got, but also, like I said in that video, I think I know I have made more friends in the last 8 months of playing 40k than I have in the last 3 years of living in London.
Yeah.
Because and even the people I talk to now, I talk like everyone, all the contacts on my phone, like the people I speak to the most are 40k people.
Am I Will 40k?
No, oh God, I've got to have full names. Everyone's got to have full names. It's like
I'm definitely a Alex 40k kind of guy.
Oh no!
Don't worry, you've got a full name, but it's the way my brain works, remembering people.
Ah, no, rookie mistake. You put it in the notes, so you click on the thing. It's just like, this is how I know this person. But
that's some granular.
Oh yeah, but I'm relentlessly organised.
Yeah, please share some with me.
You've seen my Trello board.
I have. It makes me anxious.
Oh, how does it make? It's so organised.
It's just the amount of stuff to do.
Oh yeah, okay, that's true. But I'm actually going to make a video about this. How I use the Kanban method to organise all my painting stuff. So it's actually how we do our stuff in our business as well. 3 columns in Trello, to do, in progress, done. And then you tick off the things that you've done. You move them across the thing.
Mine is just I have all these models piled on the desk.
Just a mishmash of ultramarines.
And I sit down and I'm like, and I just kind of pick something up, paint a little bit, and then bored of that, grab something else.
This is not good for your anxiety.
No, maybe not.
Another thing though as well, I was going to ask. So in terms of like personal relationships, your relationship with a girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, how has it been? Like co-owning this business, getting it off the ground, and trying to maintain relationships and friendships with people. How have you done it?
Well, luckily I have some wonderful friends and a wonderful girlfriend. We've been together a long time, and she understands how important this was to me when we were deciding to do this, and to quit my quite stable job. To come and do something with a gentleman who I'd grown very close with, but I had only known for a few months. Obviously, I confided in her a lot, and she was always a big proponent of doing it. So she's been great. Don't get serious much as I'd like. That is changing now. For a while, it was the first few months was sort of like 16-hour days, almost 7 days a week.
Jeez,
so it was full on.
Yeah.
But yeah, now just planning, it is a bit stressful, but you find time and then make the most of that time and try and not just be tired and want to flop on the sofa and realize that you're only seeing that person once every 2 weeks or something, so make it quality time. Friends, I don't see them, so luckily they're all lovely guys and girls who I talk to on the phone, and I see probably once every month and a half, 2 months. Obviously made loads of new friends here, and the people
like
I work
me.
like you, and the people I work with are my friends. So that's kind of my social time. Also, like my job is a lot of interacting with people, so sometimes in my time off I don't want to interact with people.
It's like, leave me alone, fuck off.
My day off's tomorrow, and I intend to do loads of washing, tidy the house, do loads of painting, and probably not see another human till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I may venture out and see my friends. But yeah, no, definitely can put some strain on friendships and relationships. I guess it depends on how time intensive those relationships are. Whether you need to see someone all the time, or whether you can deal with being apart and communicating in other ways. But yeah, I don't think it's sustainable forever. No, I would say with these things, you've got to sprint for a while, and Boris will tell me to keep sprinting. But yeah,
Boris is a machine, though.
He is a machine like none other. I think he's the most efficient man I've ever met, and his productivity levels are just really up there. But yeah, I think I'm getting more time now, and then you can go back and sort of patch up those that lost time, I guess. But the key thing would just be make quality time. If you are going to see people, don't just mong around and watch a movie. Go and do something fun, and draw up all your remaining energy.
Awesome.
How about you? How do you find that?
I mean, with me,
I see you playing here a fair amount.
Yeah, I do come here a lot. Yeah. So with me, I'm a very I don't want to say all or nothing kind of person, but I get very passionate about stuff. Yeah. Like when I was at uni, I was fencing 4 times a week sometimes, gym 4 times a week. I was doing some rock climbing on top in first year as well. Wow. And then sort of after that, I'm actually using 40k as a way of filling that kind of void in my life, because for the last 2 years of especially dealing with this heavy chronic illness, one thing it does is it really affects your energy levels. So imagine everything you do now with 70% of the energy that you have. Yeah. Wow. Exactly. So I was trying to help my family with the business and take a lot of responsibility away from my mum, because she was a sole entrepreneur doing everything and running essentially 3 businesses simultaneously. So I was trying to take responsibility away from her to make her life easier, while at the same time dealing with crap energy levels and at time pretty chronic pain and all this kind of stuff. And all of that while I couldn't do any sport, obviously. And sport, especially at uni, I was a very, very sporty person. And then if you take that away, in terms of just the logistics of how much time that takes up in your life, that's a big chunk of time you've suddenly got with nothing to fill it. And that was quite hard for me. And then, since November playing 40k, I suddenly realized, I have this thing that I love that I can use to fill that void. I'm now slowly getting back into sports, but this is still skinny me. This is about 10 kilos lighter. I was going to
say though, I dropped basketball for Warhammer, and I'm gained about 5 stone, and used to be doing okay not playing any sports.
This is the thing though, especially with something like ulcerative colitis, the problem isn't gaining weight. The problem is losing weight. So if I don't do any sport, I lose muscle mass. And I can't really put on that much fat because I don't have a large intestine. A lot of people watching this won't know about that, so I'd better explain that really quickly.
Watch part 1, right?
Yeah, watch the one with I did with my buddy VJ. But just quick explainer. Ulcerative colitis is where your large intestine, I'll talk to the camera. Ulcerative colitis is where your large intestine isn't recognized as part of your body, so your immune system attacks it. I had a very big attack of it when I was about 14 or 15 and had to have my large intestine removed. Had a colostomy bag for a while, had another surgery to get it all internalized, and now I just deal with the effects from the surgery rather than just the colitis itself. But that's why I'm here so often. I'm filling that void in my life.
Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you. But
thank you for all your support in sharing the good word of the Bad Moon Cafe.
Honestly, like, I wish this kind of space had existed when we were kids.
Me too.
Because, like, to have a space where you can kind of introduce people to the hobby that have no like it's not on the horizon at all, and just say like, oh yeah, let's go to this board game cafe. Oh, have you seen this thing I do also? Kind of thing. Like is really cool. And also, like, I always say this is astoundingly much better to do than like floor hammer, like Ransomwre's House, or like kitchen table hammer. Like, this is the civilized way to play. And it's also in central London, so it's like between all of my other friends.
Perfect.
One thing I always thought was quite interesting about this kind of setup, though, how, like, what would you say is the biggest, most surprising problem you've run into? Tough question. I put you on the spot here.
Tough question. I would say finding something to do on Saturday evenings has been our biggest problem. Yes. Yeah.
How so?
Just it's like a ghost town. It's tumbleweeds in the Bad Moon Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you would have just assumed that would be a good time for a business like this. You know, people dropping in, having some drinks, playing some games. Maybe not Warhammer, but
board games or something.
Yeah. I think maybe not just that day, but the hardest thing has been, I guess, organising constant events. I don't think you start something like this and you think, okay, one day a week we're going to do Dungeons and Dragons, one day a week we're going to do board gaming, and one day a week we're going to do Warhammer, and maybe we'll do a painting thing or something,
Yeah.
And that'll be fine. You're going to set it up, people will come, and it will just grow and grow and grow and grow. It's not my experience of it. It takes constant events. Every week I have to think of something new and posting and pushing it, and these things take time, but they also just can't be left. And so the biggest struggle has been A, coming up with those, B, implementing them and pushing them, and C, trying to find ideas to fill a time that you feel should otherwise be working well. So I mean, like the midweek has just been amazing for us. People love come down and play all manner of games, but then the weekend, once it hits sort of 5 or 6 o'clock, it can be really quiet. So sort of coming up with ways to fill those, and ways that work for the business. And we run a lot of tournaments, which are fantastic and have helped grow our community massively.
Like the league, for example.
The league's a whole nother beast. But yeah, they're wonderful, but they aren't always the most financially beneficial option. So basically trying to come up with events that keep a space this large with a pretty big team going. That's been the hardest thing.
Okay.
Staying awake as well. So
oh really?
But yeah, the league has been a great example of something like that. It takes a lot of care. At the moment we're rejigging our matchups. I'll speak about what the league is in a moment. And that is taking loads of time, but it's been a massive success for us, and a great way to just draw people in.
Awesome. Whose idea was that?
Whose idea was it? I think we have to give the credit to I think Frontline Gaming.
Oh really?
Ran something very similar in the States, and Boris follows them. Boris follows everything.
Of course.
And he said, look,
you've seen in their podcast.
Exactly.
That was so funny.
He had a reason. I think his daughter was sleeping next door, so he had to be very quiet.
So, like, context for that, in the podcast, he sounded like the most awkward person on the planet.
Which he is not.
No.
So yeah, we had the idea to do it, and we kind of took their model.
So how's it structured?
Okay, yeah. So the Bad Moon League, the premise is all about playing good games against people of a similar skill level. So nobody wants to play someone who is going to absolutely trash them on the table, and equally that person who's preparing for a tournament doesn't really want to spend 3 to 4 hours and potentially a journey playing against a new player. That's not the practice they're looking for, and that new player might have a terrible time and leave the hobby.
Yes,
so true. You need the new players to be playing against new players, and the tournament pros to be battling one another, so they're getting the best practice, and everyone in between playing against people of similar skill level. And another part of it is about meeting new people. So I don't know about you, but I played Warhammer with Hugh for like half a year.
Yeah.
And which is fantastic. Hugh's great, and we could always bring some variation in the armies or whatever, but
you've only got what you've got.
You've only got what you've got.
Yeah.
And the way this system works is every 8 weeks, no matter what happens, whether you move up, move down, stay where you are in your ranking, you will play against 4 new people. Which is cool, and those are potentially for other people that you might play with outside of the league, and for new friends maybe if they're all good. And so far they've all been friendly people. But the way the system works is you have 6 players in a pod, and there is a number of pods, all going from 1 to I think we'll be up to 20 now.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot of people playing, which is awesome. And you play everyone in your pod once, so you've got 5 games to play, and you've got 8 weeks to play them. So it's a bit like a game every 2 weeks, which is quite manageable.
Yeah.
People who sort of go on holiday and then just come back and sort of play 2 or 3 games in a week. It's great, and you're still going to catch up.
That's actually what happened in my pod. I had to play 3 games in the last week because everyone was just like on holiday and stuff over the summer.
Yeah, there was a bit of a rush. And then the top 2 people move up to the next pod, and the bottom 2 people move down to the pod below. And the way this sort of in time should really sort people to be playing the kind of games they want to play. And so far, that has been what's happened in the reports I've had from players. People are saying they've had great games, they've met great people, which is really cool. And it removes quite a difficult aspect of this hobby, which is like finding people to play against. You can still post on our community page and look for a game at a certain time, but I guess that's the traditional way of doing things.
Yeah.
And this is kind of makes it much easier. You just got
text someone in the pod being like,
exactly.
Hey guys, we're free on this day.
Makes their WhatsApp chats or whatever, and then everyone.
I still think you should get Discord, by the way.
Discord, yeah. Well, my ability to work a computer.
None.
Yes, none. But Paul seems to have some understanding of it, so maybe he can show me the ways. But yeah, no, it's been fantastic. I'm excited for season 2 to start.
Yeah.
Which will have started by the time this comes out.
Yeah, actually,
but
probably.
Season 3, get on Facebook, look at the Bad Moon League, and check it out. You can read the pack there. It's very unrestrictive.
Yeah, it's just win-loss.
It's just win-loss. That's another thing, We don't want something that puts people off. We want something that, someone who's just bought a pack of intercessors and a dreadnought can still play, The points is completely up to you. The missions you play completely up to you. Any restrictions you want to put in about painting or whatever, that is within your pod. We don't impose anything.
Actually, yeah, I was going to say, that's one thing that kind of surprised me. Everyone that I've played did actually quite high painting standards.
Yeah?
Like, no, I didn't play any grey plastic.
Oh, wow.
It was like, no one said, like, oh yeah, everything must be painted or put together or whatever. That's just kind of what happened, which I thought was quite nice.
Yeah, well, I think it's created room for people to maybe field things that they might not play otherwise. Maybe some old models that they love the look of, or they've done a great paint job on.
Just all mini marines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we had players who maybe do play a lot and very competitive players, but they rank themselves lower because they want to play fluffier games or try new stuff.
Funny about that,
including Simon Pridis.
I was literally about to say Simon Pridis is in pod 6, isn't he?
Simon, I'm bumping you up. He's going up.
Did you smash his pod?
Well, his pod was one of the few pods that didn't get too many games in. I think he struggled to get in touch with a few people, which was not the story overall, to be honest. I think we played 75% of all the potential games, something like 200 games were played, And if you remove the people that didn't play at all, it was almost 90% of the games played. So the engagement was awesome. But yes, Simon will be going up, no matter whether he likes it or not.
It's funny actually. So I planned a trip to Warhammer World with a couple of guys, and it just so happened to be the weekend of the GT.
Yeah.
And I saw you there. You were just like, "What the hell are you doing here?" It's like, look at all the pretty painted things.
It was fun. It was fun.
But yeah, I remember him playing. I walked past him and Boris playing, and I was just like, "Oh wow, this is awesome."
Yeah.
I did fanboy a little bit. I was just like, "Oh my god, you're Simon Fritters! I see you in like, all the podcasts."
He's a really nice guy. You should speak to him. He's a great guy.
It's I find that quite funny about this whole idea of like Warhammer YouTube celebrity like stardom.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it?
Like I was talking to Liam from Warhammer the other day, and he's like totally not used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that I think he mentioned that he got someone recognized him in B&Q, and he was just like, "What?" This is
wow. That's when crazy. You know you've made it.
Yeah, literally. But so there was the it's do you know what DZ TV is?
Yes, I'm aware. I've seen it all over Facebook. It's
indeed.
Fantastic.
So I went to their open day last weekend, and it was funny. So Winters SEO is there, because obviously he's in.
I love the channel.
Oh, it's a great channel. But so he was there, and people were taking selfies with him, and you could see he was a little bit like, "Oh, this is a thing."
Not used to it, yeah.
Yeah, I find that funny that like for such like a niche sport, well, it's not a sport, like a niche hobby.
Should be a sport.
Like
Warhammer Olympics coming soon.
That would be the most.
It would get seriously intense.
I mean, actually saying this, after the Fun and Fluff tournament, I was dying.
Yes, it's very tiring.
Yeah, I mean, it also takes place in a literal dungeon.
Yes. Yeah. If we could support 100 players, we would run it here.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I find it funny. Just this whole idea of this such niche hobby, and like people recognize you if you like put stuff out there.
Well, you have that in everything now, don't you? That's one of the perks or curses of social media, I suppose.
Indeed. And I really like that the hobby is becoming like way more socially acceptable, but also just way bigger.
Yes.
Like
100%.
It's one of those like it's nice to be able to kind of admit like, oh yeah, I do this thing.
Yeah. I think that was a big thing when I took this on. You know, there's no hiding it anymore. People are, oh, what do you do? You know,
about that.
Yeah. For a while it was Boardgame Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
You know, now it's just like it's a big old Warhammer shop.
Yep.
Tell it how
Full
it is.
stop.
But yeah, no, it's awesome. There's something liberating about embracing it. Yeah, maybe other people didn't have the same experience as kids of being chastised for playing
it
plastic
was
toys,
not cool
if
back
you
in the
did,
day.
then you probably share the jubilation of it being more accepted and pretty cool now. Being a nerd is in.
Back in the day, Big Bang Theory was not a thing.
Not a thing. No.
Like back when we were kids.
Neither
like
was Stranger Things or Game of Thrones. Now everyone wants a piece.
That's
D&D
very
as
true.
well. You know, very. That's been a huge thing for us.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How so?
People love it. It's just, I think, as we mentioned, Dungeons and Dragons, which I've yet to play.
Really?
And yeah, have you played?
I have. I played a campaign with a couple of guys, all of my Warhammer buddies from school.
Yeah.
And there were 8 of us in the party, so it was like kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And the DM, she created a whole custom scenario as well.
Okay.
Oh my god, it was one of the most fun things I've ever
Really?
done. Oh
See,
yeah.
I think it'd be very fun. Every time I bring it up, I always get the same response from whoever I'm talking to, which is that they think I would be the worst person to play D&D with.
Really?
Yeah, I think the general I give off the impression that I wouldn't embrace it. Maybe true, you know. I think I'd really enjoy it. But I don't think I could put on. I wouldn't maybe get into character in quite the same way. So I might just be, you know. Yeah, I think people think I might not dive in, but I would.
See, I think you'd be good at it.
It's on my bucket list, along with LARPing, which is going to happen.
LARPing?
I want to LARP.
That is
Not anytime soon. But
Yeah.
Before I die, I want to dress up as a wizard or something and
wow.
run around in a wood somewhere.
I mean, even for me, that's a level of nerd that I'm not quite willing to go to.
I'm totally there. I'm there.
Wow, that is impressive.
We're going to do it.
Oh my god. Just come in one day, you dressed like a wizard behind the bar.
It could happen. But yeah, no, D&D's been fantastic, and I think it's aside from like a real core community that already existed. I think you get lots of new people coming in and wanting to play, and luckily because we have a fantastic team of people, many of whom DM, we can accommodate new players. So people come in and they're like, "Hey, I've heard of this D&D thing. It looks fun. I've seen a program. I want to play." And we can drop them into a session on our D&D night, or we can arrange a time for them to play a game, and then they're hooked. So yeah, we should give it a go sometime. You could show me the way.
Awesome, yeah. Although saying this, my the campaign we played turned out to be well, it ended very interestingly.
Okay.
So I was playing with a buddy of mine, all friends, and one of the guys in the group is my annoyingly successful friend. He's an actor. Okay. So
why annoyingly successful? You're not celebrating his.
Oh no, I celebrate his success, but also like it just makes me feel bad about my life because he's done so many cool things. Like for example, so he's an actor, and the first big thing he was in was the Book of Mormon.
Fantastic.
So he was one of the Mormons in the Book of Mormon. Then he was on the international tour of Wicked. Then he was on the West End show of Wicked, and now he's on the tour with Les Mis.
Wow! Well, congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. But
what's his name?
His name is Nick Corrie. I'll link his Instagram down below in the description. But so basically, he was playing D&D when he was in the group just before he had to go on tour with Wicked. So we were just like, oh, he's going to be gone for a year and a half. We've got to write him out of the story. So with this whole arc about how he was going to be, his character fell to the dark side and like joined up with this demon person we were following. Long story short, 2 of the party died, 2 ran away, my character killed himself. 1 person was left just like standing there, like, and it was like, oh, cool, I guess like the entire scenario has ended.
Sounds like a satisfying end to
bear in mind
many hours of playing.
Oh, so that was an 8-month campaign.
Wow.
So every 2 or 3 weeks we go around someone's house and play like an 8-hour session.
Wow.
And all of that, like everyone dying and stuff, happened in the space of about 10 minutes.
Cool.
And like we all, literally at the end, we all looked at each other in dead silence, like, I can't believe that just happened. What? Like what? So yeah, I haven't played D&D since then.
I think it's something that just seems so awesome, but it's quite time intensive potentially. When you've got a hobby like Warhammer already that eats your time.
That's true.
It's.
I think there's a lot of crossover as well, because if you look at so the way a lot of people play 40k, like I especially play it in a very, very fluffy kind of way.
Yes.
Like you've seen my nameplates on my custodians.
Yeah, it puts me to shame. It makes me feel very, very inadequate in that department. I'm often accused of maybe not bringing the fluffiest armies or embracing it too much.
So what do you bring today? Gunline Tau.
Yeah.
Next day, what do you bring today? Gunline Ultramarines.
Boris got incredibly angry with me when I said I wanted to call my Dreadnought Optimus Prime or and name all of my Space Marines with names from the Transformers series. And he was sincerely,
not happy
not
with
a
you.
fan. So yeah, that's a side I haven't quite embraced before. But I'm trying to do it with Space Marines. I've picked a company.
Really?
I'm doing the decals and all that. Colour
Very nice.
scheme, not just slapping it all on. So yeah.
What company did you go for?
Second.
The gold.
The gold and the blue.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's as much as I can tell you right now. But I need to do some more reading.
Oh man!
But yeah, that's a whole other side to the hobby that is, I think, people derive a lot of enjoyment and satisfaction out of.
Absolutely. Actually, remind me later. I need to give you. You haven't read Unremembered Empire yet, have you?
I've only read the first 3, and I didn't read them actually. With the help of Paul, the techno wizard, he got them on audiobook for me.
I see.
So that was a great way to paint and listen to those. But
Awesome.
since Paul hasn't sent me the 4th in the series, it's just stopped for months because I'm completely incapable of doing it on my own.
I'll sort you out later.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I think that's it for now.
Great.
I think we're running out of time. Is there anything else you want to add about Bad Moon, your journey, or whatever else?
I don't don't think so. Check us out. Especially check out the league if you want to come and play some great games of 40k.
Okay.
And probably by the time this launches, we will have an Age of Sigmar league as well.
Really?
With a similar format, yes.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So get involved with that. But like us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can follow what we're up to and all the exciting events we're playing.
Fantastic. Okay. Thanks, Will.
No problem.
And we'll be back next time.